in a world where conformity is expected and independence is viewed as a threat. Sigma males are known for their quiet confidence, unwavering independence, and unyielding refusal to be controlled by others, be it a boss, a partner, or a friend. These traits make Sigma males notoriously difficult to control. Even if someone manages to persuade them to do something, it's probably because they are acting freely rather than under duress. What makes Sigma males so fiercely unmanageable is that, although many may find this behavior concerning, it actually serves as a testament to their courage and strength in standing up for what they believe in. Not their rejection of leaders per se, but rather their rejection of deception and superiority in general. Therefore, without further ado, here are 10 reasons why no one can manage Sigma males. 1. They respect their independence and will not accept subordination, since they find it intolerable for someone to manipulate them. They are extremely difficult to manage and work with. If you try to force them into a subordinate position or challenge their freedom, they will not blindly follow any rules or orders they disagree with, and they will always make sure to voice their opinions if they believe something is wrong. Sure, if everything is in line with their own values, they can be quite cooperative and willing to comply. But it is nearly impossible to get them to do anything against their values. Which is why many Sigmas are perceived as loner personalities who prefer to do things their way. They possess excellent perceptive abilities and are not afraid to speak up and fight for what they believe in. Many Sigma guys possess an enhanced sense of intuition and perception that enables them to evaluate people and circumstances fast. His perceptiveness aids in their ability to distinguish between those whose intentions are sincere and those who could try to manipulate or dominate them. They could be less vulnerable to tricks or exploitation by others. Sigma men are sometimes hard to manage because they have an instinctive understanding of who they are, and it's hard to force them to do anything against their principles or personal vision. It's hard to control someone who can see through deception and manipulation. While it may be possible to get them to do something, it will probably have to be done in a way that doesn't involve direct manipulation or coercion. This doesn't mean they are immune to control, but it becomes difficult to maintain over time. 3. They have strong boundaries. It is difficult to predict their behavior and control them in accordance with predetermined plans or strategies. The strength in establishing and enforcing boundaries makes it difficult to control someone. In order to command someone, you must force them into a state of subordination, which means you need to have a firm grasp of your own boundaries and limits. These men are clear communicators who make it known when someone crosses their boundaries. This implies that you must force them to give up their independence and authority, which is difficult for someone with firm limits to do. Male Sigmas are resistant to intimidation and refuse to allow outsiders control their life or infringe on their own boundaries. While some Sigmas may be scared by their independent spirit, Sigmas will fight control and push back against anybody who attempts to transgress their limits. Though some may regard them negatively, Sigmas see this as a source of power and independence. They guard their own boundaries, avoid toxic relationships, and know when to move on and not allow anybody influence their journey. Although some may perceive Sigma men as reclusive and distant, they are actually highly conscious of their surroundings and the people in them. They know that encouraging toxic behavior is bad for their health, so they make the conscious decision to avoid it. They are realistic thinkers. Sigma men are extremely pragmatists and astute thinkers. They don't follow conventional wisdom or accept things at face value. They are able to analyze situations objectively and with great pragmatism. Because of their unconventional mindset, they are more difficult to control than people who adhere to established conventions because you can't control someone, you can't predict their next move. But Sigma guys have their own set of rules. The lack of control over them can be frustrating for those attempting to keep them in line. They are often perceived as rebellious without a cause because they find it difficult to live up to others' expectations. But this is far from the truth, as their motivations and values often lead them on their chosen path. Instead of just accepting what they hear, they should question it. Their ability to think independently and generate their own beliefs and ideas allows them to make decisions free from outside influence. Their intellect serves as a barrier that might be challenging to breach, shielding them from unwarranted influence and exploitation. 5. They are reticent and enigmatic. Sigma men are difficult to get to know because they tend to be reserved, which makes them difficult to control because it's difficult to manipulate someone you don't know their thoughts and feelings about. They also tend to keep to themselves, reveal little about themselves, and choose their words carefully. Thoughtful people who plan out their actions and rarely let anyone in on what they are up to. Sigma males can be mysterious and are frequently preferred to keep people in the dark about their true intentions. They don't do this out of maliciousness, but rather to protect themselves by keeping people in the dark. Sigma always keep one step ahead of anyone attempting to manipulate them or use their advantages. While some may see this as suspicious behavior, Sigmas use it as a means of maintaining their independence. It's difficult to control a Sigma male if you can't get close enough to him or figure out what makes him tick, so while it may irritate those who try to control him, it acts as a useful defense mechanism for the Sigma, allowing his reserve and mystery to work to his advantage rather than against him. 6. Disengagement from worldly belongings. Sigma men don't associate wealth or material belongings with pleasure. Instead, they are uninterested in status symbols, material goods, or social acceptance. Don't get me wrong, they want to live a simple, clutter-free existence, so controlling them with material stuff is challenging. They don't associate money or things with pleasure or contentment. While Sigma men may be difficult to control through material possessions, that doesn't mean they can't become successful or even wealthy. Instead of trying to impress others and conform to societal standards, Sigma men will not allow anyone to use or manipulate their path to success. They are not opposed to owning nice things and making money, but they do so on their own terms. Sigmas place a high priority on upholding their moral principles and are totally content with their independent, genuine lives. They know that true happiness stems from inside, not from financial belongings or social acceptance. This detachment enables individuals to develop a solid sense of self independent of other people's approval by rebelling against authority. Even in the face of hardship, Sigmas maintain their independence and autonomy because they are very self-reliant. Sigma men attend to all of their demands, including psychological, bodily, and monetary ones. They don't depend on other individuals for acceptance, validation, or monetary assistance. Their tendency to be self-sufficient extends to other facets of their lives as well. They will act alone and complete tasks without waiting for assistance. It's challenging because they refuse to allow outside influences rule their life or direct their behavior. They are independent thinkers who trust their intuition and follow their own path, rather than trying to fit in with the crowd, which makes them difficult to control as their decisions are based on their own internal motivation rather than external pressures. They also take responsibility for their actions and don't blame or make excuses when things go wrong, since it's just a natural part of who they are. Many Sigma males might not even realize how genuinely self-reliant they are. Despite their denials, though, their self-reliance is a powerful source of strength and resilience because, in contrast to society, which likes to classify people into stereotypes, Sigma males are not interested in fitting in with social norms, expectations, or labels. They won't follow the herd and instead prefer to be independent thinkers who forge their own path rather than following trends. Because they refuse to fit in, they are very difficult to control by others or anything. Their lone wolf character is a psychological protective armor that makes them more resistant to Sigma males, because they see them as a direct danger to their independence and freedom. 9. Strong self-esteem and a firm understanding of their identity and values are attributes of Sigma males. They are not inclined to blindly follow others' requests, even if doing so might be seen as stubbornness or disobedience. It is difficult to manage them, in contrast to individuals who are insecure and low on self-worth. Sigma guys are unaffected by outside factors like coercion or pressure. Anyone attempting to manage a Sigma needs to confront their identity or sense of self, which is incredibly challenging to do. 10. Their primary value is independence. These guys prioritize their independence above all else, even when it would be simpler to comply. Makes them extremely tough to control when under duress, since they will always follow their own path regardless of what other people say. If you enjoy the video, subscribe our channel.